are considered musicians, a musician of, you know, the musician's musician. You know, you do a lot of stuff. Do you think you are a kind of workaholic?
Well, it's difficult when you like what you do, see? When you like what you do, it's not like if you work in a bank, then you sort of go home at night and you don't think about being in a bank until the next morning. But if you're a musician or a songwriter or something, you tend to take it home with you.
You are in the process 24 hours.
Yeah. And the secret is learning how to switch off. And I've not been very good at that in my life. I'm getting better at it.
Meaning what? You're trying to work less?
Not so much work less. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to keep the tours a bit shorter so that I can be at home more.
And you know, when you said when you started writing lyrics, at the end of your first marriage. Why?
Well, I had nothing else to do. You know, I mean, she went, took the kids, took the dogs, and what am I going to do? So I started writing songs. I wrote some songs, and those songs became face value. You know?
So your entire career, you think you've been writing what you're going through.
Absolutely.
It's a very personal thing, your music.
Yeah, I mean, there are some songs, one or two or three, that may be written about an idea. I mean, Easy Lover was just a phrase that actually sounded pretty good with the music. It wasn't that I'd met an easy lover, you know, or anything like that. It was just, you know...
You wish, huh?
I wish. I remember the images that probably caused the song. Being in Washington, seeing homeless people in the shadow of Capitol Hill. And I thought, this is very strange in a very rich city that this should happen. Now, I didn't write the song specifically about the homeless. I mean, I sat down at the piano and wrote that piece of music and sang those words. I sang the first verse and, you know, I'll think twice, it's just another day for you and me in Paris. I just sang those. That's what came out. And most of the time with my lyrics, the lyrics come out. And the way that you can't do it the first time you do it, you have to work on it. But when I'm writing songs, I will sit at home and in the studio and I will just sing. And whatever I sing turns out to be a verse or a chorus.
You mean you improvise?
I improvise. In the Air Tonight was entirely improvised.
So this is your creative process?
Yeah. And sometimes nothing comes at all. Maybe in my entire catalogue of songs, maybe there's 10 songs that were hard to write.
And Wear My Hat?
Wear My Hat, all of those lyrics were improvised.
And you said that the relationship with fans.
There are fans that, you know, respect your privacy and therefore kind of, you know, they don't ever want anything. They don't want proof. A lot of fans want proof. And that's okay, an autograph, that's nothing to give someone. It's like someone that's bought your records and supported you over the years. Hey, you want an autograph? Fine, what's your name? But there are other people that just go that little bit too far and feel that they kind of own you.
They grab you.
You know, it's like I'm happy to get up in front of 10,000 people and sing.
You said that in Dance Into the Light you wanted to do a change. That is a change. What have changed?
Well, first off, any record you do, you want to make it different from the last one because that keeps it fresh and interesting for you. But when you say that to yourself, you can't make it different unless it happens. You know, I mean, I remember with Genesis, we sat down and said, let's make an acoustic record like we used to. Let's make an acoustic guitar record, you know. And then you sit down and you start writing, and nothing goes like that. You know, it all goes in the opposite direction. So you can't, try as you will, you can't make things change unless it happens naturally. So I didn't really set out to write songs with an African flavor. It just happened. I was listening to a lot of that stuff. You know, I tried to sort of do something different, mainly because I think a lot of people were expecting a divorce album. like face value. And, you know, like some of the songs that people know that I write about what's happening in my life, so I just deliberately tried to avoid that. Face Value was written at a time when I was not known as a solo artist, so, you know, only later, I mean, when it came out, started to affect the person I was writing about, and the children, you know, who would hear the songs about their mum and dad on the radio. So I didn't really want to do that. I didn't want to put my ex-wife through it. I didn't want to put my girlfriend through it. I didn't want to put me through it from the press point of view. I didn't think it was fair on the kids. So I tried to change, you know, not write about that.
Also, from both sides and to this album, and also you changed a lot because you left the Genesis,
Yeah.
which is a big move in your life after 25 years. Why?
Well, I've done it for 25 years. There's the reason. Yeah, I mean, I don't know in practical terms how it could have survived. A group has to be in the same room to write music together. You know, and in the same room means in the same country. And I live in Switzerland, and I don't have a house in England or anywhere else in the world. I just have one house in Switzerland. And the guys have families. They live in England. So from a practical point of view, it would have been very difficult to continue. For me, it was easy. I mean, we've all thought about it many times, probably. I mean, if you ask Tony Banks or Mike Rutherford, I'm sure they would sit here and say, yes, they've woken up some mornings and said, that's it, I'm out of here. But they've changed their minds for some reason.
And Phil, what is the main problem of being part of a group?
There's no problem if you enjoy the aspect of being in a group. Now, I did enjoy that for 25 years, and I'm not saying I wouldn't enjoy it again.
You know, is it an equal thing, or that jealousy?
No, there's nothing to do with that.
No?
I mean, no, in some groups, probably. I mean, in some groups, if someone does a solo record and they're in a group, if it's successful, the first thing they do is leave the group. Whilst I had my solo career and whilst being very popular as a solo, you know, artist, I stayed with Genesis because I wanted to be with Genesis. And you stay with the group for as long as that's fun. Time I finished my album and my tour, there's a Genesis album, a Genesis tour. Then by the time I finished that...
Non-stopping stuff.
Yeah. So inevitably, you outgrow it. Or you outgrow the desire to do it.
You want time for yourself.
Yeah. Tony and Mike are carrying on, and for them, it's still a very big part of their lives. Maybe in a year's time, it will cease to become a big part of one of the other two guys, like, you know, Mike or Tony's.
What do you think is the most difficult thing for the relationship work?
Or a couple, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's understanding what the other person has to do to feel fulfilled in his life, like my girlfriend works. Now, you know, the easiest thing for her to do would be to stop work, come out on tour with me, and just live in my shadow. But she can't do that. I don't want her to do that because she's too clever to just do that. She's, you know, a very clever woman, and so she, you know, she has a business, and so she has her own life. And I know that she needs that. So that will make her happier. If she's doing that, that makes her happier. And if she's happier, she'll be happier when she's with me.
And what do you think are the most important qualities in a woman?
Breasts.
This is very American, huh?
I didn't say big breasts, did I?
Uh-huh.
I just said that she had to have breasts. No, I was being you said be jokey, you know, so I was kind of being I thought we were getting too heavy. No, equality is the woman, a sense of humor. But mainly it's a sense of humor, I think. You know, if you can't laugh together, then really...
Everything works.
Yeah. If you can't laugh, it's a problem. If you can laugh, everything's easy. Do
you allow yourself to be very romantic, sentimental person?
Yeah.
Or you think you're that kind of guy that thinks that this is your weaker point?
That being sentimental is my weaker point. No, I'm far too sentimental. You know, I wish I wasn't as known for romantic songs as anything else, because sometimes it's a bit of a noose around your neck. For people to think of, you know, Against All Odds, One More Night, Same Moon, Groovy Kind of Love, you know, that's Phil Collins. They don't think of me as a jazz drummer. They don't think of me as...
Actually, you were very good. I saw you.
I'm a very good drummer.
You're not bad at all.
And they don't think of me as a jazzer. They don't think of me as writing songs that of substance and of depth. Peter Gabriel does that. Springsteen does that. Sting does that. Elvis Costello does that. But not Phil Collins. They just hear on the radio, and they don't really think about it. But to me, I'm the person I live with, so therefore I'm aware of what I do. I'm aware that on every record there'll be the songs that get played on the radio, and there are the other songs which never get played on the radio, which have actually got a lot of substance to them, a lot of depth. Mm-hmm. And maybe a little bit too long to play on the radio.
Do you like your song Too Far?
Just Another Story, yeah, by Going Too Far, yeah.
Going too far. Have you ever been too far?
Oh, yeah. Next question?
Likewise. Next question.
Oh, well, you know, it's like...
Like drugs or what?
Well, no, I mean, I remember on stage in LA once, not on stage actually, but back in the days when you could actually, you know, smoke something and perform. I mean, I have to say this was the early 70s, you know. I mean, the early 70s was the last time I did this because of this experience. I just, you know, occasionally you'd have, in the early 70s, when I was just playing the drums, you know, you just have maybe a little puff of an illegal cigarette. And I remember the songs were pretty complicated in those days, you know. And I remember this song coming towards me, and I'm thinking, what's happening? What comes next? What comes next? What comes next? And I vowed I'd never ever do that again. And to me, that's just going one step over the line of what I do is very complicated. I mean, in one hand, it's very easy. All I do is stand up there and sing songs. Sure. It's not brain surgery. But at the same time, it's
quite one.
There's a lot involved in what I do, you know. And so you have to be straight. You have to be. I mean, when I see kids out there in the audience that are like wired and stoned and drunk, they do it most of the time because they kind of think they have to be like that to appreciate the music, or that the person they're watching is like that. And that always depresses me because, you know, if they think that, I have to be so together to do what I do.
And also in the star system, you know, you're so real. How can you keep you, because everybody says, oh, you're great, you're beautiful, I love you, or grabs you. How can you keep yourself being real, down to the earth?
Well, because you know that, well, especially in certain countries, you know that it's kind of bullshit, you know. I mean, you know that they like you, but you know they don't love you. What they're saying is an expression of saying how much they like the music. You know, you're fabulous, you're incredible. I know how good I am. And that sometimes is good, sometimes is very good. Occasionally maybe great, but otherwise it's just, you know, people can say whatever they want to say to me.
So you deal easily with criticism?
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't deal easily with criticism. Okay. I'm talking about the other side of it. Oh, yeah, well, when someone says that an album's lousy or a terrible album, that hurts because you think, wow, I've got that wrong.
It's not true.
Oh, it might be true. Oh. It might be true. That's the thing. It might be true. I like it, but then I wrote it. But it might be true. Maybe they're right and I'm wrong.
What is your idea of happiness nowadays?
Is a variety of things. It can be a really nice Japanese meal. It can be a hot curry. It can be going out on the boat on a beautiful day with a book. Mm. It could be a cold beer at the right moment. It could even be a Big Mac at that right moment. It could be all kinds of things.
Is there anything that is really you can't stand? Is something unbearable?
I can't stand hypocrisy or racism is something I can't stand, you know, and everything that involves, you know. We're talking about lots of things that are related to racism. I think that's something we have to sort out.
There is a moment that you are in an empty room by yourself and you feel lonely.
Yeah, well, that's when I have to start talking to myself. I have to say, Phil, you're incredible. And I say, really? So what was the question? Go on. What were you going to say? Well, there's moments when I'm very
yeah,
lonely.
if you feel lonely.
No, I don't. I mean,
Never, ever?
I enjoy my company.
Okay, I'm great.
No, I can always find something to do. I'm quite happy to be on my own, as I'm happy to be, you know, with people. What I think is funny is the funny side of it is after a show, when everybody, I'm sure, in the audience is going home saying, wow, you know, good show, blah, blah, blah. Isn't he incredible? Whatever they're saying. They're probably thinking, I bet now he's sort of having a party and there's all these chicks and, you know, it's going to be like the movies, you know? And in fact, what happens is you go back to your hotel room and you have a drink or two, watch a bit of television, the same as everybody else.
And after, you know, all this success and stuff, what moves you to keep challenging yourself, daring to do new things and...
Trying to get it better, trying to improve it.
What for?
For me. You know, I took my big band out, a 20-piece jazz big band out last summer. It cost a lot of money to do it. It certainly didn't make money. I took Tony Bennett out as my guest singer, and I took Quincy Jones out. And for me, that was a great thrill to do. It had no... There are better big bands and better big band drummers in the world than me. I wanted to do it for me. I wanted to sit there playing the drums and watch Tony Bennett sing while I played behind him with Quincy conducting. That was done for me.
You hear Brazilian music? Sometimes you know something?
Milton Nascimento.
Milton Nascimento.
Milton Nascimento.
He's great. Great singer.
No, I remember when we played in Rio, back with Genesis, way back in '78. I came back from Rio, well, São Paulo, Porto Alegre we played, and Rio. And I brought back loads of records. Gilberto Gil, I mean, and it all sounded fantastic. I loved it.
When are you going to start the next one?
I won't be making a record for a couple of years, probably. There's a big band record coming out. The record of my big band will be coming out this year. Everybody's got to listen to that because it's really fantastic.
Good.
I'm not incredible, but the music's fantastic.
You're great.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
By the way, you're great.